we are the Jollies, and Happily Married Monday with Jolly want you to start a watch party. And those on Instagram want you to send the little hearts and so forth. Let everybody, dotty dotty, we waving to you, waving to everybody. We want everybody to join us. For those who are first timers, we're the Jolly, we're the authors of the book Make Love,
Make Money,
Make It Last. Make love, make money, make it last. 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage by Dr. Willie Jolley, best-selling author, Hall of Fame speaker, and his bride for over 30 years, now almost 36 years, Dee Taylor-Jolley.
You know, we had a consultant who said to me, we should have a picture on our book.
What do y'all think? Should we have a picture on the next version of the book? Some people have asked about that. That might be a good idea. I'm open to it. Like this picture on my book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. We've had a rush on this book.
You know why?
Why?
Because people are happy that the year's over. They've had setbacks.
And they want to come back.
And they want to come back.
All right.
And they're looking for, how do I go about having a comeback? And that is why book,
this is the playbook.
Years old, is popular.
This is the playbook if you want to turn this setback into a comeback that we've had for 2021.
The
year 2021. Go to
the year 2020.
I mean, had setback as you go into 2021.
And you need the concepts or the principles to help you turn it 21.
Yep.
Into your comeback.
All right.
That's why that book is popular right now.
Yep.
We have several orders today.
Yep. So we've had people run on those books. So what's trending is conversation about communication. What's breaking up a lot of marriages, particularly through these challenging times where people are more intense. Their time together.
And why are times challenging?
Well, it's a pandemic, it's economic downturn, massive job loss, racial strife, social upheaval. You're stuck in the house. My friends in California, I spoke to one of my friends in California today. They are in another shutdown. It's hard. And we know it's hard. We know that it's a tough time for married couples.
So you're stuck in a place where you might not like being around your mate.
Well, what happens is the little things become exaggerated when you're around each other. So if you don't have good communication, you don't have open and honest and
like the white rug on the bathroom floor?
Say what?
Like the white rug on the bathroom floor?
Okay, that's a topic we've been talking about in our lockdown or our time of...
we've been communicating. You know
we've
what?
Been communicating
there's this article by a psychologist by the name of Brad Browning that brings forth some of these issues that we're going to talk about. And he says there's a difference in talking versus communicating. I had not thought about it like that.
Well,
did you know there's a difference between talking and communicating?
I did know that, but you tell me.
You did know that.
I did
You're
know
so
that.
smart. You have a PhD.
I have a PhD. I have a degree in psychology and sociology.
I don't need any of that.
And a master's in theology and a doctorate. So
and all of that you needed to deal with me.
I needed every piece of it to be able to hang with you.
I didn't know the difference between talking versus communicating. Not really, but to say that talking is really just providing information and it doesn't require a response. Or you're saying things and you don't even care if the person
got it or not.
Yes.
I was comprehending what you were saying.
You just wanted to get it out, be it facts or whatever. You just want it's one way.
Okay. All right.
But when you're communicating, it's back and forth because you want to engage the other person and you want to influence them. So it is a back and forth. It is a two-way.
So the great communicators are making sure that the person on the other side of the communication not only receives it, understands it, and is able to comprehend it. As Dr. Stephen Covey said,
it goes to influence.
As Dr. Stephen Covey says, seek first to be understood. No, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand what the other person is saying and comprehend it, then speak to be understood. So we want to make sure people so many marriages, we're getting emails. So we're starting to get more and more questions. Please feel free to send your questions.
And if we don't answer them
Terrence asked
if we
what
don't
a
answer
great
them on
question.
on the air, then we actually send A private email.
Yeah. Linda Kazera, tell Greg hello, welcome from West Virginia.
Aw.
Terrence Ephraim Gray asked a terrific question. Dr. Willie, is your communication better because you are an artist or you're a professional communication expert? No, the answer is not in marriage. No, because I know some of the greatest speakers and communicators on the planet who are not communicating effectively in their marriages because that's a different skill set. And
it's learned.
Yeah.
And I would say that when you told all of your speaker friends.
Now, there's an inside joke about that because she says that all the
speaker friends that you wanted, that your wife was going to come work with you. You were just so excited. Oh my God, I found my tribe. They talk like me. I was like, oh my God. And then next she said, you got to go with me. And you told everybody, my wife is going to come work with me. My wife. And I went that next year to the convention and they were like, please, no.
Some people told her not to work with.
If you work with your spouse, you will end up in divorce. And many of them went on to get divorces, have gone on to get divorces. So because you are a professional communicator doesn't mean that your interpersonal communication skills is effective.
That's right. And Terrence said one more fine thing. He said his weakness in communication is listening. And he's working on it. So,
oh my goodness, that is so powerful.
And I believe part of my success as in our marriage is, or the challenge could be, because I'm so used to sending out information, communicating, outgoing, it's the incoming that I had to work on, the listening to her, to be silent and not prejudge what she was going to say or what I was going to say in response to her.
It's a different kind of communicating. All right, so you communicate on stage.
Yes.
But you are watching the participants and their body language.
Yes.
To gauge how you've got to continue to draw the people in, the words and all the other kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
But when we are interacting, it is not the same thing.
Right.
You're not necessarily looking at my body language as much as looking in my eyes and trying to figure out and listening to the sound of my voice and all those other things.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So it really is. And there's a different kind of impact because you're stuck with me. You get to go home after you talk to the audience. You stuck with me.
Am I stuck with you?
You stuck with me. So you gotta figure out, how am I going to make this work?
You mean there's no free pass out or
no? You can die.
So let me tell y'all what we say in the book. When we got married, I told her that this was forever until our last breath. Now there was a way out. I told her, if you want out, you can get out. Just die. You die, you're good to go. You good. But and she says that the same with me. So let me read something from our book. And by the way, for those who are first timers or joining us, the book is Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets of Shaping a Great Marriage. Is available at jollymarriage.com. Great Christmas present for your relatives. We say for you, for your relatives, one for yourself. Get 2 copies.
It'll make you laugh.
One person got 10 copies to give as Christmas gifts last year. So we signed them. Let me read this though. Communication. Communication in marriage is like oil in your automobile engine. It can be messy to handle, but without it, your engine will run poorly and eventually it'll lock up and bust. So keep communicating with outbound and listening. And so we talk about communication. Don't assume. That's a big thing that you must not do. You did not marry a mind reader, so you must not assume or expect your partner to understand what you are going to say and why you're going to say it.
You know what I think is
Oh my God, Dee. You know guess who just joined on the chat? Who? Dr. Clarice Fluid. Oh, Lord have mercy. So y'all got to know she's featured in the book. We were on tour together on the Get Motivated tour.
How long has she been married? Dr. Clarice, how long have you been married?
Dr. Clarice, you've been married for 60 years, somewhere like that. I love you too. She's through the chat. Aww. Anyway, Dr. Clarice has a wonderful quote in chapter 5 of the book. I know it's in there because she says in the book, it's the first paragraph. Dee and I highly recommend that you marry, you leave the drama with your mama. Our friend, Dr. Clarice Fluid, a tremendous speaker, author, and minister, has been married to her husband, George, for over 50 years. I think they're closer to 60 now. Over the years, she has counseled countless couples and seen all sorts of drama. Dr. Clarice often says, love is blind, but marriage is an eye-opener. I love that. We agree with Dr. Clarice. Now, for those who are just joining us, though, chapter 4 is our communication chapter.
Is that the one we give away?
We give that away at jollymarriage.com.
And you need it. Here's why you need that. Just get the free chapter.
Yeah.
Because how you communicate is really a choice. I think the first thing is to identify what your own limitations are.
And understand them. And be honest with yourself.
Right. To accept that you're not perfect. And I know for some of us it's very hard to do. Why? So I know that I am challenged. I am married to somebody who speaks for a living.
What I do?
I can't spit now. But
okay.
I'm impatient. I don't want to hear the long drawn out story.
Yeah.
I want the bottom line.
She doesn't want, as a speaker, I've got to tell, when I'm coming in to tell her something,
This is D.
Let me tell you.
I'm like,
and I start drawing out the story.
So I have to take a deep breath because I know he's enjoying that.
I'm enjoying the
And for me, on the other side, I'm like, give me the end and then go back and tell me everything else.
Yeah.
But I sense sometimes he's so excited and he just wants to tell me everything, and I have to let him do that. And that's love on my part.
Yeah.
I discipline myself to listen. He's very happy about doing that.
Yes. Well, we're speakers. And we do, that's what we do. We go to the National Speakers Association. There's old saying.
And everybody has a story.
And you can't get a word in edgewise because all the speakers are speaking. Greg Kozera, good to have you, my friend. Oh, Dr. Clarice said 60 years, December the 26th. 60 years, she was celebrating. The day after Christmas. God bless you, Doctor. Tell George we said hello, and y'all are role models. Y'all have been such great role models.
And Dr. Tandy.
And Dr. Tandy, we love her as well. Now, look, we want to get through these points because we got points to get to. It's important that we understand that during this pandemic, the intensity, so one of the trending topics that came up is about communication and the fact.
And we now know the difference between talking versus communicating. And talking is just providing information with no desire to hear or to understand how the other person is receiving and what they're thinking. So we want
to have
communication.
We want a communication. And what we find is there's a lack. Here's the trending topic. The lack of complete communication. People
and that's what we were talking about. So I was like, what is that? Lack of complete communication. So what is that?
No, they're not lying. Maybe they're telling part of the story.
If you're telling a piece of it, then that's a lie.
But they're telling the convenient or comfortable part.
That's because you don't want to enter into conversation or dialogue with your partner. So you only give them half the truth. So life can go on.
Where's that piece in one of my books that lack of communication creates confrontation, which is miscommunication, which creates separation. Come on, somebody! Okay. That's in one of my books. There's a whole bunch of Asians.
Review. Talking is about giving information without the need or the want for a response.
Is that like saying,
plenty of room for complaining? What
was that movie? Love Story. Saying I'm sorry. Love is never having to say I'm sorry or something like that. You know that's movie with Eli McGraw and
Allie McGraw.
She don't know. She knows nothing about. First of all, let me tell you how different we are. I'm into pop culture, movies, music.
I'm into silence.
So we are just as different. I remember talking about, sports figures. Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, sweetheart.
Yeah, she does. She'll listen.
I'll listen. I am better now. I'm not quite as clueless.
No, you're not.
Because I'm into you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Say that again. That's good. People should hear that. That was a pearl. Make sure that one of the reasons why we've been married for 36 years and we haven't had an argument in over 33 years is what she just said. Say it again.
Because I'm into you.
She's into me and I'm into her.
So I'm patient. And I listen.
She does listen and I listen.
Even though it's my nature to want the quick, fast answer and let's move on. Because I'm into him, I stop. I make myself. I discipline myself to do those things that are uncomfortable for me.
So what are some of the recommendations we give people?
Okay.
Oh, one thing is my friend Stephen Gaffney says in his book, Honest Communication, that communication is not just what's said, it's also good communication is understanding what's being withheld. That's critical.
How do you figure out what's being withheld if they don't tell you unless you
people say you should have known.
No.
And we are saying that's a bad strategy for great couples. It is opening up and telling, here's how I'm feeling.
But you can't figure out what's being withheld until you become an investigator. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
About what?
What you just said.
It's not about what you said. Good communication is not just people who don't communicate honestly is not about what said always. It's about what is not said, what's withheld.
So how
creates dishonest communication.
Okay. So how do you resolve that? How do you figure out what your spouse is withholding from you? Oh my goodness. How do you do that?
Well, I think part of that is go back to our 4 F's. If y'all haven't been with us, the 4 F's are consistent, they work, be friendly, be frank, be fair, and be focused on a win-win. Be friendly. We're going to have difficult conversations in marriage. Have difficult conversations, be friendly. Don't start out hostile, mad, angry, cussing, spewing bad words and calling people out their name. Start out friendly. Because when you start out angry, people put up defense mechanisms. Number 2, be frank. Frank is not, you did this, or you did this, or I'm mad about. Here's the frank. Here's how that made me feel. What you just said, what happened, here's how it made me feel. That's your truth. Tell your truth about how it made you feel. You can't tell somebody else what their motivation was. It's impossible. You don't know what, you can guess, but you'll never be sure. But you can always tell for sure, what your person feels. Be fair. Be friendly, be frank, be fair. You must listen, which is, Terrence said he has to work on. And you got to help that. I got to work on listening, folks. You got to work on listening. I'm always trying to be a better listener to my wife.
But you are. You really are.
I'm pretty good listener.
I'm not good.
Well,
I work at it, but it is not a natural thing to me. Because I just want
the bottom line. She does your work.
So at least I am aware of what my limitations and my challenges are. You are by nature, the whole psychology bit and all of that. You know, some of this stuff I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I listen to people and I counsel.
You are good with that.
All right, so be friendly, be frank, be fair, and then be focused on a win-win. How do you create a win-win? How do you both leave the table feeling like you won?
So that's the answer.
That's the secret to a great marriage.
But that's the answer to how do you, going from lacking complete communication, that getting the information, that how do you find out? Be friendly, be frank, be fair, and be focused on apology yourself. But I think before you can get to that, you, as I've said before, have to deal with your own limitations and really who you are. I can't get to be friendly, be frank, be fair, be focused on a positive result when I'm pissed off about something. So I got to go away and collect my stuff. I'm telling the truth.
Well, you always tell the truth. Everybody knows that you are. Now look,
so I just can't get there. You just like, oh, you know, like come by, yeah, that's his personality. Okay, I'm the psychologist. Let us sit down and reason together. No, I don't want to sit down and reason with you. So, I have to move away. Oh, for real. You know that.
Well, you don't do it that often with me now. I mean, years ago.
I'm like, I need a minute, maybe an hour or two, because we can't go to bed angry. You know, just keep it real. If you say, you know, I have my own issues,
Yeah.
And we work through each other's issues.
Yes.
And that makes you such a sweetheart.
I work with her. I just am patient. I told her, I said, that's what is one of the keys to our relationship. I'm a patient man. I'm a patient man. And people, here's the funny thing. People think my son, William, who is the reason we wrote this book, because he pushed us to it, because so many of his friends were having marital problems, were asking us for advice.
And he said, talk to my parents.
You got to talk to my parents. Now, William will say, get this question. Your last name, William Jolley? You related to Willie Jolley? You related to William? Man, the motivational speaker. I hear him on radio every day. I listen on XM. I've read his books. I've heard him on TV or PBS. I know when you get home, boy, he's talking up a storm, motivating you. William said, no. He said, when I'm at home, Dad's pretty quiet. He said his mom was doing all the talking. So I'm listening. I'm listening to William. And when I have something to say to him, I usually tell him in a story.
In a story, and that drives me crazy.
Jesus. Well, I learned that from the master.
I get that.
From Jesus, the carpenter from Galilee, who changed my life and turned me around and set my feet on the solid ground. Anyway, Jesus used parables.
To speak in parables.
He
to
told
tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit that in very challenging situations, as we have dealt with, not just us, but with other individuals and couples, to be able to tell the story where the principle is in the story really does make a difference.
So we had a question this morning that we had to raise about the sex life when there's some incompatibility. What do you do when the wife says he's a great guy, I love him a lot,
and I'm not getting satisfied?
I'm not getting any satisfaction. And what did you say? You gave a good answer. You gave a great answer. What was your answer?
Was that tactful?
You were tactful. You said you need
sex counseling.
That's right. Sex therapy.
You need sex therapy so you can figure out what each person needs to do so that there can be mutual satisfaction.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because she's saying it's the physical part that she doesn't get a climax.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And you went into great detail about how women do different from men.
The part of the woman that needs satisfaction that is not a part of penetration. See? Yeah. Was that very tactful?
Folks! And I'm so proud of her. Because really, let me tell you what Cheryl and I, Mohawk Blondie and I say about her. She's a shop jock.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah, you are. Oh, yeah, you are. But thank God you're very tactful on the show.
Thank you, sweetheart.
But, people are calling in from all over the country and around the world saying, your wife is like
crazy.
Off the chain. She's amazing. She's so she's such a great communicator. Because they never get to see her because she's always, running things in the background.
I don't need to be out front. I like being in the background.
So Terrence says she can't train her husband. It's more than that, Terrence. No, it's more than that. He has some inability.
First of all, no. Train is not a good word. That means like Pavlov's dogs. What you want to do is to positively influence your mate, and there's certain things in the sex functioning department that cannot be trained.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So there's some.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need help, medical help.
Because some of that is
mental.
Psychological.
There's some men have some mental
some of
things.
that is also physical.
That's right.
But if the love is there, and you make each other feel secure with what you're working with, you can make it work.
I'm thinking
to the benefit of each other.
I'm thinking about my pastor who says, you got to make a commitment to love your wife. And yeah, you're right, Lynn. Dee needs her own show for women only. You're absolutely right, because she tells the truth, the bottom line. But my pastor says, sometimes what happens if you married to a woman and only thing that's working is her mouth. She's nothing working from her neck down, and all you get is the mouth. He said, that's tough though, but you got to love them. You got to love them through it. And you got to make that commitment. And I told her, I'm with you. You can get out of this when you die. Look, we got 2 minutes. We got to, this goes so fast. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Starting next week, we're going to start doing Tis the Season to Be
Jolley.
Hello, it's Christmas time messaging. So send us your questions and your.
We've got some. We didn't finish with the common problems.
We don't have time. We don't have time.
I just want to say overstepping boundaries. That's boundaries. That's something you can work on. What does that mean? That means getting to was it Terrence? You can't. Our goal is to not change somebody. Did you marry this person to change them?
Well, you know, some people do think they can change them. Now, no, everybody who knows me, Olympia would know, and others who are on who knew me earlier. You have changed me. You have influenced me.
I have influenced you.
Now I'm still wild.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
still hyper. I'm still extrovert.
I've influenced you.
But she has influenced me to be neater, wash the dishes, clean up behind myself.
But that is not because I said to you, wash the dishes.
No, she didn't.
Clean up after you.
No, she didn't. She didn't fuss.
I have studied him, and that is really mentally labor intensive. Just let me tell you that. But because I have studied him closely and been close to him, I know what turns him on. I know what to do and what to say. And I think I had said that previously, that you can be sexually intimate without even touching someone. It's the words that you use. So I know the words to use to influence him and to encourage him and to get him to say, you know what? I will make up the bed. I will change the sheets on the bed. Oh my God. That's a big deal with us. I will change the sheets on the bed.
Whenever she wants. Whenever she wants. Because the brother gets hooked up. Get a holy dance.
So it is.
You know the Bible says that the bed is undefiled.
So that might not be important for another couple, but you have to know what buttons to push for the person you love and how to get the most out of that relationship. I don't think that's manipulation.
No, it's not.
That's
she needs to do a program just for women, and our brothers, I need to do one for y'all.
And then you need a fan because you get hot up in here.
We got to go. We're going to leave on that. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley.
And this is Detail.
Go to jollymarriage.com. Get for Christmas copies of the book or the audio version that just came out not long ago. Get the whole package and run.
A link.
Jollymarriage.com. Get the free chapter for those who are first timers, and everybody gets some copies of the books for Christmas. God bless you.
Jolly out.
Jolly out. See y'all. Good night.